Hello, and welcome to RIP News. I'm your host, Liddy, and today, May 29th, 2025, we bring you a heavy-hearted episode. In the last 24 hours, we've lost iconic American legends whose contributions shaped our culture and history. Join us as we pay tribute to their remarkable lives, celebrating their legacies while mourning their passing. Your support means the world, so please like, share, and subscribe to RIP News for more heartfelt tributes. Let's honor these extraordinary individuals together. Ena Hartman, who was the black actress who broke barriers in Hollywood, starred alongside Burt Reynolds, and nearly played Dorothy Dandridge, yet remains largely forgotten. That's Ena Hartman, and her story is one you need to hear. Born in 1932 in rural Arkansas, Ena grew up as the daughter of sharecroppers, raised by her grandparents until she moved to Buffalo, New York, at 13. She dropped out of high school, opened a restaurant, and worked as a cook and waitress, dreaming of something bigger. That dream took her to New York City, where she chased a modeling career. But what happened next would change everything. Imagine being rejected by a modeling agency, only to be spotted in their lobby by a photographer who saw star potential. That's exactly how Ena Hartman got her break. Her talent landed her a groundbreaking NBC contract in 1962, reportedly the first for a black actor, paying $12,000 a year for 5 years. She called it the most exciting moment of her life. But the road wasn't easy. As a black actress in the 1960s, roles were limited, and the industry wasn't always welcoming. Still, Ena pushed forward, and her persistence paid off. Ena's early roles put her on screens across America. She appeared in Bonanza, played a crew member in Star Trek's The Corbomite Maneuver, and even landed a part in Columbo's 1968 pilot, Prescription, Murder. But bigger opportunities slipped through her fingers. She was handpicked by Dorothy Dandridge to portray her in a biopic alongside Sidney Poitier, but Poitier backed out, and the project collapsed. Ena also auditioned to star opposite Elvis Presley in Change of Habit, only to lose the role to Barbara McNair. Yet these setbacks didn't stop her. There was something bigger on the horizon. In 1970, Ena landed her defining role as Katie Grant, the sharp-witted police dispatcher in Dan August, starring Burt Reynolds. The show, set in the fictional Santa Luisa, California, was a gritty crime drama that became a cult favorite, despite lasting just one season. Ena's presence as a black actress in a regular TV role was groundbreaking, showing the world what was possible. Fans still talk about her cool-headed performance, but her next move took her to an even darker stage. By 1973, Ena was starring as Carmen Sims in the cult classic Terminal Island, a raw, action-packed thriller about murderers left to fend for themselves on a lawless island. Alongside Tom Selleck and Roger E. Mosley, Ena played a tough survivor, but an ankle injury during filming cut her role short. Reports say director Stephanie Rothman refused to include a rape scene, keeping the film's violence from becoming exploitative. Ena's grit shone through, proving she could hold her own in any role. But why did her career end so soon? After a final appearance on Police Story in 1975, Ena Hartman quietly left Hollywood. Some say the lack of diverse roles and the industry's slow progress wore her down. Others point to her desire for a private life. She settled in Van Nuys, California, where she lived until her passing on April 16, 2025, at 93, of natural causes. Her goddaughter, Lorraine Foxworth, shared the news, sparking tributes from fans who called her a beautiful soul and a pioneer. Ena's story isn't just about her roles. It's about the doors she opened for black actresses like Diane Carroll and Gale Fisher. Ena Hartman's life was a testament to resilience. From sharecropper's daughter to Hollywood trailblazer, she faced rejection, broke barriers, and left a legacy that still inspires. Her name may not be as famous as others, but her impact is undeniable. So, what's the lesson here? Sometimes the quietest voices leave the loudest echoes. Think about the unsung heroes in Hollywood, whose story deserves to be told next. Michael Sumler. Have you ever wondered who brought the electrifying energy to Kool and the gang's legendary performances? Michael Sumler, known as Chicago Mike, was more than just a wardrobe valet, he was the heartbeat of their live shows. But his story ended in a heartbreaking twist that no one saw coming. Born in Chicago, Sumler cut his teeth in the local music scene with his band Power Pack. His raw talent caught the eye of a Kool and the gang security member, and by 1985, he was on his way to transforming a music icon. But how did a Chicago native become a funk legend's secret weapon? When Sumler joined Kool and the gang, he didn't just carry suitcases. He became their stylist and choreographer, crafting the slick moves and bold looks that defined their MTV-era vibe. His work helped make hits like Celebration and Ladies' Night unforgettable on stage. And that wasn't all he brought to the table. As the band's hype man, Chicago Mike lit up arenas with his infectious energy. Fans didn't just hear Kool and the gang, they felt them, thanks to his charisma and backing vocals. His presence turned concerts into parties. But there was more to Mike than the spotlight. Behind the scenes, Sumler mentored young musicians, sharing wisdom from decades in the industry. Friends say he lived to see others shine, a legacy that outlasts his time on stage. And what happened next would shock everyone. On May 25, 2025, after rocking the Mabel House Barnes Amphitheater, Sumler's life was cut short in a head-on collision in Mableton, Georgia. Reports say his Nissan 370Z crashed on Veterans Memorial Highway, leaving the music world reeling. The other driver walked away unharmed, but Chicago Mike was gone at 71. Tributes poured in from Kool and the gang, Mableton's mayor, and bands like Con Funk Shun, who called his final show, Love's Train, a haunting farewell. His flair and spirit shaped funk history for over 30 years. Chicago Mike's gone, but his energy lives on. Who's the unsung hero behind your favorite band? Brian Avnet. Ever wonder who pulls the strings behind music's biggest stars? Brian Avnet was one of those hidden forces, shaping legends until his passing at 82. His story is one of talent, grit, and a knack for spotting diamonds in the rough. But what made him so special? Let's dive in. Avnet started in Baltimore, managing theaters and rubbing elbows with young Dustin Hoffman and Jon Voight. Those early days hinted at his knack for nurturing talent. But there's more to his story. Enter Josh Groban. Avnet discovered the young singer, turning an unknown into a global sensation. His vision didn't just create stars, it changed lives. And that wasn't his only win. In 1979, Avnet took on the Manhattan Transfer. 2 years later, they made history, snagging Grammys in pop and jazz for The Boy from New York City and Until I Met You. That dual victory. Unheard of at the time. But Avnet wasn't done. He worked with giants like David Foster, Bette Midler, and Cyndi Lauper, shaping hits for Whitney Houston, Celine Dion, and more. His touch was golden, blending jazz, pop, and everything in between. Yet, what's next will surprise you. Rumors swirled about Avnet's influence behind closed doors. Some say he quietly steered the music industry's biggest moves. While unverified, these whispers paint a picture of a fiercely loyal man who fought for his artists. And he faced his own battles. Despite a years-long struggle with Parkinson's, Avnet never lost his passion. Tributes from artists like Alan Paul, who called him like a brother, show his impact. Avnet's legacy isn't just in the music, it's in the lives he touched. So, next time you hear a classic hit, think, who made it possible. Brian Avnet's story proves the real magic happens behind the scenes. Ed Gale. Ever wonder how a small-town dreamer became a horror legend, only to face shocking rumors? Ed Gale's story is one wild ride. At 20, he left Michigan with just $41, chasing Hollywood dreams. His first gig? Slipping into the suit of Howard the Duck in 1986, a cult classic that kicked off an epic career. But it was Child's Play in 1988 that made Gale a legend. As Chucky's physical performer, he gave that creepy doll its chilling moves, diving into stunts that left audiences stunned. And he didn't stop there. Gale returned for 2 more Chucky films, cementing his place in horror history. But that wasn't the whole story. From Spaceballs to the Polar Express, Gale racked up over 130 roles, popping up in shows like My Name is Earl. His fearless stunt work, like full-body burns in Child's Play, showed his grit. Yet, whispers of trouble loomed. In 2023, reports claimed Gale was caught in a sting, allegedly chatting with someone he thought was a minor. The accusations rocked fans, though he was never charged. Here's what's being said. Rumors swirled, devices were seized, but health issues kept him out of custody. And then what happened next shocked everyone. On May 27, 2025, Gale passed away, at 61, battling heart and lung issues. His niece called him the fun uncle, but his legacy sparks debate. Can talent outweigh mistakes? Drop your thoughts below. What's Ed Gale's true Hollywood story? Peter Kwong. Ever wonder who brought the electrifying rain to life in Big Trouble in Little China? Peter Kwong, a name synonymous with cult classics, left an unforgettable mark on Hollywood before passing at 73 on May 27, 2025. But his story goes far beyond the screen. Born in Sacramento in 1952, Kwong kicked off his career in the 1970s, landing roles in hits like Wonder Woman and Little House on the Prairie. His grit and talent set the stage for something bigger. And what happened next would define a generation. In 1986, Kwong stole the spotlight as Rain, one of the 3 storms in John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China, and as Tommy Tong in Eddie Murphy's The Golden Child. These roles turned him into a fan favorite, with his sword-wielding intensity sparking backyard battles among kids. But there's more to his craft. A master of Northern Shaolin Kung Fu, Kwong's martial arts skills brought authenticity to his action roles. His moves weren't just for show, they were a testament to years of discipline. Yet, his passion extended beyond acting. Kwong was a vocal advocate against anti-Asian stereotyping, famously calling out offensive Oscars jokes in 2016. His courage reshaped casting conversations. But that's not all. From Cooties with Elijah Wood to Curb Your Enthusiasm, Kwong's nearly 90 roles showcased his range. He even dazzled on stage in Mame alongside Juliette Prowse. Off-screen, he served on SAGAFTRA boards and emceed cultural events, earning respect as a Hollywood leader. Fans recently flooded X with tributes, recalling his warmth at conventions. While rumors swirl about his passing, no cause was confirmed. He left us peacefully in his sleep. Peter Kwong wasn't just an actor, he was a trailblazer. Share your favorite Kwong moment below. Per Nørgård with Ring Above RD. Could one man redefine music itself? Per Nørgård with Ring Above RD, Denmark's musical titan, did just that, leaving a legacy that still echoes after his passing at 92. Born in 1932, he started as a shy teen, mentored by Van Holmboe, channeling the soulful Nordic vibes of Sibelius into his early works. But Nørgård with Ring Above RD wasn't one to stay comfortable for long. In the 1960s, he unveiled his Infinity series, a mind-bending technique where melodies evolve like fractals, forever shifting yet somehow whole. His voyage into the golden screen stunned listeners with its otherworldly flow. But not everyone was ready for his vision. When his calendar music hit Danish TV in 1970, viewers called it too strange, yanking it off air. Nørgård with Ring Above RD didn't flinch. Instead, he pushed further. Then came a bombshell in 1979. Stumbling across the wild, chaotic art of Adolf Wolfli, a Swiss painter locked in an asylum, Nørgård with Ring Above RD found a new spark. His music turned surreal, almost unhinged, with Symphony No. 4 and the Divine Circus blending order and madness. Yet, he also crafted beauty for the masses, scoring films like Babette's Feast, which won hearts worldwide. By 2012, his Symphony No. 8 glowed with lyrical warmth, earning praise as approachable yet profound. Fans speculated, would a ninth symphony follow? As a teacher and writer, Nørgård with Ring Above RD inspired generations, seeing music as a force to shift how we view the world. His death in 2025 left a void, but his sounds still challenge us. What worlds might he have unlocked next? That question lingers, daring us to listen deeper. Juan Ramón Verón. What makes a footballer a legend? For Juan Ramón Verón, it wasn't just skill, it was magic. Nicknamed La Bruja, or the Witch, Verón cast a spell over Argentine football, but his story ended abruptly in May 2025 at 81. Let's dive into the life of this Asturias icon. In the late 1960s, Verón emerged as a star for Estudiantes de La Plata, a team that dominated with 3 straight Copa Libertadores titles from 1968 to 1970. His versatility as a midfielder and forward, paired with unreal ball control, made him unstoppable. But what sealed his legend status? His jaw-dropping goals. Picture this. A soaring header against Manchester United in 1968 to clinch the Intercontinental Cup, or a stunning hat-trick against Brazil's Palmeiras that left fans speechless. Those moments defined him. Estudiantes' success wasn't without drama. Under coach Osvaldo Zubeldia, their aggressive, physical style sparked heated debates. Some called it genius, others called it brutal. Either way, Verón's flair stood out in the chaos. And there was more to come. In 1972, Verón took his talents to Panathinaikos in Greece, dazzling fans for 2.5 years. Then, in Colombia, he helped Atletico Junior win the 1977 title, proving his magic crossed borders. He returned to Estudiantes in 1980, cementing his loyalty. His son, Juan Sebastián, nicknamed La Brujita, carried the family torch, leading Estudiantes to glory in 2006. Recently, online buzz swirled about Verón's rumored romance with a young footballer, Augustina, though nothing's confirmed. It's just whispers for now. Verón's passing from kidney complications shocked fans. Was there more to his health struggles? His legacy lives on through Estudiantes' spirit. What do you think La Bruja's magic meant to football? Let us know below. Hoedeman. Ever wonder why some geniuses fly under the radar? Hoedeman, a Dutch-born animator, won an Oscar for The Sand Castle, yet his name isn't shouted from the rooftops. Let's uncover his story. In 1965, Hoedeman took a wild leap, moving to Canada with just a reel of his work. He knocked on the National Film Board's door, and days later, he was a production assistant. Talk about guts. His first gig, Continental Drift, was solid, but Oddball in 1969 showed his real spark. But he was just getting started. Hungry to master stop motion, Hoedeman jetted to Czechoslovakia in 1970 to study puppet animation. This changed everything. Back in Canada, he crafted Chow Chow in 1972, a whimsical film made entirely from wooden blocks. It was playful, bold, and totally his own. But he didn't stop there. Hoedeman teamed up with Inuit artists in Arctic communities, turning their legends into films like The Owl and the Lemming. Using sealskin figures and soapstone carvings, he brought their stories to life with respect and creativity. Yet his biggest triumph was still coming. In 1978, The Sand Castle hit screens. This quirky tale of foam, wire, and sand creatures snagged an Oscar and wowed audiences worldwide. Its charm still holds up. So why isn't Hoedeman more famous? Some fans on X say modern animation's Flash overshadowed his quiet brilliance. Others argue his work's too timeless to fade. Hoedeman passed in 2025 at 84, but his films live on. His story reminds us that true creativity doesn't need a spotlight, it just endures. So, what's stopping you from rediscovering his magic? Ngũgĩ Thiong'o. Who was Ngũgĩ Thiong'o, really? A literary giant who defied empires, or a man whose personal life sparked whispers of controversy? This Kenyan icon, who passed away in 2025 at 87, reshaped African literature, but his story is far from simple. Let's dive into the untold chapters of his life, where rebellion, sacrifice, and rumors collide. Ngũgĩ didn't just write stories, he waged a war against colonial shadows. Born in 1938 as James Ngũgĩ, he started with English novels like Weep Not, Child, capturing Kenya's struggle under British rule. But in the 1970s, he made a radical move. He ditched English, calling it a tool of oppression, and started writing in his native Gikuyu. It was a bold stand for cultural identity, one that inspired a generation, but rattled the literary world. Why risk his global audience? That's where his story gets fascinating. By 1977, Ngũgĩ took his rebellion to the stage with Ngũgĩ Ndinda, a play co-written with Ngũgĩ Wa. This wasn't your typical theatre, it invited villagers to join in, breaking the mold of elite, passive audiences. The play's sharp critique of Kenya's post-independence leaders hit a nerve. 6 weeks after its debut, the government shut it down, and Ngũgĩ found himself behind bars. But that wasn't the end of his defiance. Locked in Committee Maximum Security Prison, Ngũgĩ refused to be silenced. With a smuggled pen and toilet paper, he wrote Devil on the Cross, a scathing takedown of corruption. Released after a year, he fled Kenya, branded a threat by the regime. His exile took him to the US, where he taught at Yale and UC Irvine, but Kenya's pull never faded. And what happened when he finally returned? It's a story that shocked everyone. In 2004, after 22 years away, Ngũgĩ stepped back onto Kenyan soil with his wife, Nyeri. Crowds greeted him like a hero, but days later, tragedy struck. Armed men broke into their Nairobi apartment, attacking Nyeri and leaving Ngũgĩ with burns on his face. Some whispered it was no random crime, but a politically charged warning. The attackers were caught, but questions lingered. Was this revenge for his outspoken pen? The truth remains murky. Fast forward to 2024, and a new storm brewed. Ngũgĩ's son, Makoma, took to social media, claiming his father had mistreated his late mother, Nyambura. Reports suggest Makoma spoke of childhood memories of his mother seeking refuge from alleged abuse. These claims, unverified, sparked heated debate. Some called it a betrayal of Ngũgĩ's legacy, others saw it as a son seeking justice. Ngũgĩ never publicly responded, leaving fans to wrestle with the disconnect between the literary hero and the man. But there's more to his struggles. Ngũgĩ faced battles beyond the page. In 1995, doctors gave him 3 months to live after a prostate cancer diagnosis, yet he fought back and survived. Later, triple bypass surgery and kidney failure tested him again. Even as his health faltered, he kept writing. His final work, The Perfect Nine, reimagining Gikuyu myths through a feminist lens. His resilience was undeniable, but it raises a question. How do we weigh a man's triumphs against his flaws? Ngũgĩ Thiong'o didn't just write, he challenged empires, reclaimed languages, and paid a heavy price. From prison cells to exile, he carried the torch for decolonization, but rumors of personal failings cast shadows. His death in 2025 closed a chapter, yet his story lives on. So, what do you think? Can a flawed man still be a literary giant? Drop your thoughts below, and let's keep this conversation going.